Next up is Kenny Alas from McCullough Middle School. Kenny is an amazing student, always eager to learn and know more. Kenny graces his advisory and honors class with the fact of the day to help us be more world-rounded. Kenny always brings that aha moment into his Spanish classroom and makes learning a new language seem like a breeze. Kenny is willing to take risks, discover new practices, and explores the Spanish culture and world every single day. Kenny's attitude when he's not in school is humble, respectful, quiet, supportive, and an encouraging one towards his little brother, mom and dad, and the neighbors. One of Kenny's favorite things to do is play video games, but he also enjoys going to church and helping kids in the area. He likes supporting and helping his little brother's baseball practices and games. The Rocket family greatly recognizes Kenny Alas as McCullough's Student of the Month. Congratulations. Next up is Jose Cervantes from Castem High School. Jose is a senior and is a leader and role model for the campus. He has participated in cross-country, yearbook, and was recently inducted into the National Honor Society. Outside of school, Jose is an active member of his church and is a dedicated employee with his uncle who owns a taco truck. Last spring during HEB camp, Jose rose as a leader at camp, and it did not go unnoticed. He was also helping out and offering assistance to the adults and has continued with that helping nature around campus. This summer, Jose represented his campus along with 4 other CAS STEM students at the Tapia STEM Camp at Rice University. Through this opportunity, Jose met extraordinary people and built hands-on projects that expanded his horizons in engineering, such as learning about hydrogen fuel, carbon capture systems, and coding. Jose is projected to graduate with his associate's degree from Palo Alto College and plans to take advantage of the opportunities there and then transfer to UTSA or another university. CASTEM is extremely proud to recognize Jose.
Brandon, you will be very happy to hear that Jose wants to be an accountant. Engineer. So we desperately need accountants. So you will easily come back and we'll hire you. We will hire you. So we're so excited. So Jose's family, his school family also will please stand. We'd like to recognize. We'll still need you, okay? All right. Congratulations. Let's take a group picture. Perfect. A little closer.
There you go. All right. Right here. Big smile and 1, 2, 3. Awesome. One second. Anybody else wants to take a photo?
Thank you all so much. We're very proud of you. The entire board supports you and we're all very proud of you. Keep up the good work. Que no se nos olvide. 2 idiomas es muy importante. José, ¿tú también hablas español? Ay, qué bueno, qué bueno. Gracias. Muchísimas gracias.
We have one more recognition. This year, we started a new franchise highlighting our board members each month. This month, we've been featuring stories on Jose Diaz, and we look forward to celebrating all their hard work and dedication to the Southwest ISD community. Here's a look at this month's video.
And if I can, basically, a lot of board meetings, just because I was very listening to over staff and superintendent at the time, what we're talking about, I just thought it was very important for myself as a taxpayer, to see where our tax dollars are going. And one of the reasons why I decided to go ahead and go and start Larissa graduated in 2021. Christine graduated in 2021. children are the biggest reason why I'm standing here before you. I want our community to know that the programs and opportunities that Southwest ISD provides for our children are out there for all of our children. We have one finishing up her studies at UTSA, South Carolina, and we have two attending the University of Texas. So we're very proud to have our children representing Southwest ISD wherever they go, and hopefully bring opportunities for themselves for their future and other children that are here today. So I emphasize all of our parents and guardians to go attend the meeting, join the community. And you never know where it can lead you, maybe one day you might be looking for. And it's a welcome opportunity for anyone to see where our dedication is going. It's going fast, it's growing fast. And we have to stay ahead of the curve and be involved. My name is Jose Diaz, and remember, we are Southwest, and we are stronger together.
We look forward to interviewing all of y'all in the next coming months.
Congratulations, Jose. And on behalf of the board, students, thank you. You're why we are here. You're why we do the things we do. And we are very proud of you. Now, this past week, we also had a conference in town, the MASBA conference, the Mexican American School Board Association. And unfortunately, I wasn't there. It was for the first time in 24 years that I missed a MASBA meeting. But I know Dr. Ball and several board members were there, if not all. Dr. Ball, do you have any comments you want to make?
Yes. Southwest ISD is very blessed to have an amazing program, and it's called the Promise Program. Next month, we will officially recognize them. But since this recently happened this past weekend, I would like to recognize Chief and any of our officers that are here because they lead the Promise Program. They give students a second chance because we believe in our students so much. And the Promise Program was selected as one of the winners at our MASBA conference. So Chief, thank you so much for all you do.
Okay, thank you. Parents, students, this has been the most exciting part of the meeting. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. It won't be as exciting, okay? But at this time, you may be excused. You may leave if you'd like. Los que gustan quedarse para el resto de la junta, no va a ser tan orgullosa como fue estos primeros 10 minutos, ¿eh? Pero si gustan quedarse, están invitados. Si se gustan ir a este momento, se pueden ir, okay? We'll take about a 3-minute break. Okay, we'll come back into open session. At this time, public comments, I understand we have several people signed up.
Yes, sir. So I'm going to read the public hearing rules of engagement. When addressing the audience during the public forum, speakers' commentary must adhere to the following. Everyone must model courtesy and respect. Speakers shall not employ profane or threatening language, nor shall they engage in any personal attacks. The public has the right to make critical and harsh remarks. However, the expectation is that the message delivered by the speaker is done so in a constructive manner with a collaborative purpose. Speakers are expected to respect both the decorum of the public meeting and the authority of the board. The Board of Trustees requests that derogatory, inflammatory statements and personal attacks on individuals be avoided. Caution should be exercised in publicly attacking specific individuals. In accordance with Board Policy BED Local, the board shall not deliberate or respond to any subject that is not included on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. Speakers who have signed up to speak on specific agenda item must focus their own comments on the posted agenda item. We have Jessica Aragon signed up to speak to general public comments this evening. She would like to come forward. I would like to confirm that you're also speaking on behalf of Kelly Arguello or no?
Actually, Kelly came.
Oh, okay, so we'll have, okay, just want to make sure.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Give
Well,
me-
good evening. Oh, sorry.
Give me one, let me set the timer for you.
Sorry. I'm used to
Okay.
just getting going.
You will have 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good evening, Dr. Ball, Mr. President, board members, and senior staff. For those of you that do not know me, my name is Jessica Aragon. I am the president of the Southwest ISD Texas State Teachers Association. I'm also a community member, a parent, and a teacher in our district. I wanted to come here tonight to introduce myself and to thank you for all of your hard work and dedication to our students and employees in all of our buildings. I also wanted to commend you on all of your recent accolades as a school board. As we all know, it takes a lot of hard work and dedication to do what we do to help our students be successful. We want to thank you all for listening and having those crucial conversations that are needed for this success and advocating for our members. Though we may not always agree on certain issues, we always listen and come with a plan. We hope we can continue this communication and be a part of the continued success here at Southwest ISD. Again, thank you for your time this evening and your dedication to our district. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Kelly Arguello, person who signed up to speak for general public comments this evening. Ms. Arguello, you'll have 3 minutes. You ready?
Good evening, Dr. Ball, senior staff, and school board members. My name is Kelly Arguello. I am the lead for Relay for Life for this year. This is going to be our 18th year at Southwest. I would like to defer my minutes to Tony Garcia.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tony Garcia. I've been a member for Southwest my whole entire life. Went to school from kindergarten all the way to graduation and came back, served with the community with Kelly for 18 years, like she said. I'm also a cancer survivor. We're here to talk about Relay for Life. It is a big event for us. It holds dear true both of us. Kelly dragged me in. No, I'm just kidding. Kelly asked me to come in and help her with her dad started this organization a long time ago. Because of him, that's why we're here initially. And along the way, we've had several family, friends, community members that have been also affected by cancer. Everybody knows somebody. It's a tough thing to go through, and everybody's there for everybody. This is, like she said, our 18th year. We've the only relay in Bexar County. We've raised over $53,000 last year. And we invite the board this year to come out and walk with our honored guests at 7 o'clock, which starts with the survivor lap. We also like to see if we could get 100% participation from our district. That's including like every school district representative, every department. I mean, one person is good enough for us to be out there and representing Southwest. We have a lot of community teams that aren't even in the district. We have teams from St. Mary's University. We have teams from Girl Scouts sometimes. We have teams from Valero sometimes. So if those organizations can come over to us that aren't close to us, I think we can get 100% participation from Southwest ISD. We appreciate all the time that y'all give us and the opportunity to have it hosted here at the campuses. And we look forward to our first event, which is Trunk or Treat, October 31st at the baseball parking lot. Thank you so much for having us and opening up the district to us.
Next up, we have Elizabeth Manzanares, person who's signed up to speak for general public comments this evening. You have 3
Hello.
minutes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name's Elizabeth Manzanares, the former band booster president for Southwest Legacy High School. School Board, I am here today to raise severe critical concerns regarding the recent dissolution of the Southwest Legacy High School Band Booster Club, the lack of transparency in addressing this issue, and the troubling conduct of its replacement, Team Titan. First and foremost, the forceful dissolution of the Legacy Band Booster has caused significant outrage among parents, students, and the community. The manner in which the decision was made and enforced raises serious concerns about fairness, consistency, mainly as similar actions would never have been imposed upon the Southwest High School Band Booster. This unequal treatment has left many feeling the decision-making it's not just or transparent. Furthermore, it must address the actions of our Chief Executive Officer, Fine Arts, Mr. Flores. He had earlier told us that there had never been an investigation, but later on it was discovered that there had been allegations of financial misappropriation and missing funds. This misleading information has seriously damaged trust within the community, and we deserve clear, truthful communication from our district leadership. The remedy introduced following the dissolution, the formation of Team Titan, is a matter of growing concern. Despite the district's stance that Team Titan is not a booster organization and does not engage in fundraising, the reality is that their actions mirror those of a traditional booster club. There's no clear boundary for how Team Titan should operate, and the lack of guidelines has caused further confusion. This group is conducting activities that would typically fall under the scope of a booster club, creating a contradiction with the district's stated position. Even more troubling is the retaliation that has occurred against students, parents, and community members. Many of these individuals have been excluded from participating in Team Titan activities, and their exclusion appears to be linked to the support for the now dissolved Legacy Band Booster or their opposition to its dissolution. This retaliation has created a toxic environment where stakeholders feel silenced and marginalized. This is unacceptable and has only deepened our community's division. Grievances tied to these actions had never been adequately addressed or communicated to those involved, leaving a void of accountability and transparency. Stakeholders are rightfully upset, and it's vital that these concerns are brought to light and taken seriously.
Ma'am, you have 30 seconds.
We urge that the school board act swiftly to address the following: the dissolvement of the Legacy Band Booster and assistance, clear, fair policies, guidelines for district affiliation organizations, and the end of retaliation against students, parents, and the community. I'm asking for assistance to help me dissolve the booster club in its manner and its entity that it needs to, and policies and procedures, especially those that are upheld to the organization from 2012, to be updated and to be communicated fairly with all entities and all organizations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Peter Bernal. We have Peter Bernal, a person who signed up to speak for general public comments this evening.
Good evening, board members, superintendent, community. My name is Pete Bernal, and I'm here to address concerns regarding specifically of my level 3 grievance against the board member Ida Perez Sadokin to be heard in closed session today. Since my first grievance in November 2023, Ms. Sadokin has continued to make false defamatory statements about me, which are untrue. Her pattern of retaliation against me as a community advocate is unacceptable. More concerning, Ms. Sadokin has violated the confidentiality by sharing details from a closed session of August 27, 2024, breaching the Texas Open Meetings Act. The misconduct is damaging to public trust and board integrity. Additionally, multiple board members have publicly stated they have heard back in raising concerns about impartially addressing Ms. Sadokin's actions. This demands an external oversight. I will be requesting the board to refer to the matter in Texas Education TEA for an independent investigation amongst other restitutions. Ms. Sadokin's behavior, including the potential First Amendment violation of social media, is harmful to the community. Lycan versus Reed 2024 ruling clearly states that the public officials must separate their personal and official activities. Our community deserves leadership that upholds transparency, accountability, and trust. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Ms. Yolanda Garza Lopez. We have Yolanda Garza Lopez, person who signed up to speak general public comments this evening. You have 3 minutes now.
Good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Ball, and fellow community members. My name is Yolanda Garza Lopez, and I am here to address a critical issue regarding the misuse of public funds and the ethical responsibilities of our school board members. As elected officials, school board members have a fundamental duty to manage public resources with the utmost integrity and transparency, always prioritizing the interests of our students, parents, and the broader school community. This role demands strict ethical conduct and accountability. While board members, like all citizens, have personal opinions and beliefs, it is crucial that these do not result in the misuse of public funds. Today, Pete Bernal are presenting a level 3 grievance against all trustees for all trustees that have utilized district lawyers to defend themselves against electioneering complaints filed by the Ethics Commission. This action directly violates district policies, relevant laws, and ethical guidelines. We respectfully request that the board president address and rectify this matter promptly. Furthermore, the use of district legal resources for this purpose is not only inappropriate, but also constitutes a misuse of public funds. Such actions undermine public trust and establish a troubling precedent that district resources can be leveraged for individual political pursuits. This practice runs counter to the ethical standards expected of public officials and employees within the Southwest Independent School District. Misuse of public funds erodes trust in our educational institutions. It is essential that all expenditures are directly aligned with the educational mission of our district and that public funds are managed with the highest level of integrity. This includes ensuring that district resources are not diverted to activities that do not advance our educational goals. The community entrusts the board with these funds, and any misallocation or improper use not only jeopardizes the effectiveness of our educational programs, but also damages public trust. The board must enforce clear policies and rigorous oversight to prevent misuse and ensure that every dollar is spent in alignment with our mission and values. I urge the board to reaffirm its commitment to responsible financial management and transparency. By upholding these standards, the board will help maintain the community's trust and ensure that our public resources are used solely for the benefit of our students and educational mission. Thank you for your attention to this important matter. I trust the board will address this issue with the seriousness that it deserves and commit to setting a strong example of ethical stewardship. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else, Ron?
Nope, that's it, sir.
Okay. Consent agenda. Board members, item 5 you've had before you. Any questions or any items that need to be pulled out? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move.
A second.
A motion, a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Items of information, construction update. Thomas, make me happy.
We'll have a lot of great information.
Good evening. So we're going to be presenting schematic design with Kluger Architects tonight for the Legacy Edition. I'm going to hold off on the press box. That normally would be our first one, but I'm going to hold off on that. So when Raphael comes up, we can do both. So I'm actually going to call it Carr Hornbuckle and Bob Skwarchek. Carr's with RVK and Bob is with KenCon, and they're going to do the update for the new central office building.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board, superintendent. Appreciate being here tonight. I'm here, as Thomas mentioned, along with my colleague Bob Skrabarczyk from KinCon. We don't have too much to show you yet for our central office, other than a lot of dirt. But as a point of reference, I just thought we would bring back some of the renderings that show the project as it will be when we are complete next fall. This is looking at the front of the building, close to the arches in front of Southwest Elementary School. Similar viewpoint, but looking at it from further overhead, an aerial view. And then from the north of the building, looking back with the portion of the building that will house our future boardroom on the left, more of the staff offices on the right. And I'm ending with this view because the rest of the images that I have to show are some aerials that are taken from that same direction. So this aerial is from April, when we were just getting started with our site demolition. And then a similar viewpoint 2 months later in June, showing the majority of the demolition work underway. Right over at the right-hand side of the screen, you see the last component that was taken down, which was the media center. So Jenny, you can't go back. And then this photo, also from June, shows that same completion level. That's a large pecan tree that was behind the old gym that will remain just north of the new building. And so from that pecan tree in June to here in August, about a month ago now, the rest of the work that has been done to prep the site. We have now begun all of the excavation to put in the foundation, put in all of the underground piping, along with the demolition work for the old building 400, which as of today is about 3/4 of the way complete. Do you have any questions that Bob or I can answer for you?
Just a comment, it's looking great, even having it just like that, to see the progress, it's really nice. I know that it's bittersweet, there were a lot of beautiful memories made there, a lot of hard work that was done in those buildings, but exciting to make new memories and to bring this wonderful opportunity for our staff and for our community.
Agreed.
All permits good to go?
Yes, we have received all of our
Thanks,
building
Chris.
permits.
Great.
So all of
Thank
that
you.
is well underway.
Thank you.
Great,
How
thank
soon
you.
can we move in?
Well, probably not next week. We got a little bit longer, but we are on schedule for next fall.
That's exciting.
Yep. All right, thank you. All right, I'll let you.
Yeah.
So next, the Bob Hope Elementary School renovation. James Moore with OCR is here, and Paul Ralston with KinCon, and they're going to give their presentation.
Mr. Vasquez, Dr. Ball, board members, thank you for having us today. We're here to present the updates for the Bob Hope Elementary School renovations and additions. So as you recall, this was the existing site, all of the, and this would be the demolition plan and then the new plan, just as a familiarization of where we're going with the project. Currently, KinCon Construction has completed the infrastructure or all the utilities that go to the backside of the site in order to facilitate the addition of the portable buildings as well as the new addition. They've also ran all of the power through the building, routed it through there for the new portables. Some of the demolition that's already taken place on the site, we already have had started prepping, and all the utilities for the new restroom facilities and the new wing, new education wing, being routed in. On the interior of segment E, where the library used to be, all of that library has already been removed, and now we're getting ready to put new walls, new HVAC, new lights, electrical rough-ins are about to start going in. So when we're completed the overall new classroom addition, where the E and then connecting over to the gym, this would be what it will look like when we're all said and done. And then the next things on the list of next 30 days, portable buildings. We'll be running the fire alarm PA AV and the power over to them, so that way we can get occupation of the portable buildings, so we can start renovation of the other portions of the building. The renovation or the existing building E, we still have metal studs, like I said, drywall and partitions going up, fire sprinklers, ductwork installation, electrical rough-in, interior paint going on. And then also for the new addition, the grade beam excavation and pouring, slab rebar along with that. Is there any questions?
Board members? No, I drove by a little over a week ago. It looks very clean, very organized.
I think King Kong's been doing an excellent
So
job,
it's
not only
looking
with the project, but also with the coordination with the campus.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. So while Raphael and Paul come up for the press box, I just wanted to touch, we still are waiting on our permit to put the freezer on at Child Nutrition. So we haven't had any movement. We've been calling, trying to figure out what's going on down there. But I know Winston and Kylie and their staff moved back into the building, and the addition and everything is done on the inside of the building on the office side. We're just still waiting on the permit to actually break ground and get that freezer done. All of the steel is here sitting, waiting. We're just waiting on the county to give us our permit on that one. So we're working with them, trying to reach out and get that from Public Works. But as soon as I know more, I will let y'all know. Yes.
On the next round back in October, I'd like to take the board so they can see Child Nutrition.
Okay.
It looks beautiful. I got to see it, and Winston and his staff are doing a beautiful job, but I'd like the board to see how nice it looks. I think they'd like to see it too.
Okay.
Along with the tour of the press box on that same page.
So with that being said about the press box, I'll turn it over to Raphael Bedoya with Fluger and Paul Gamble with CGC.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Bless you. I saw one more coming. Bless
I
you.
think that's it.
Well, good evening, Mr. President, Superintendent, members of the board, senior staff. We're presenting today an update on the press box. I understand a few of you went out there yesterday to kind of take a sneak peek. You can see that CGC has been doing an excellent job to keep the project moving based on the time crunch that we have now that football season has commenced. So there's an urgency to get this building turned over. They're doing a lot of the panels right now in the exterior, working their way around the building. You can see a lot of the front part coming into shape. Next week, they'll be focusing on the back end and closing up the metal panels. Most of the masonry is already completed, although it's a thin set brick. It's not a full-size brick. The thin set brick kind of looks like a very nicely done. We like the craftsmanship that they've done. They've done an excellent job. They're working on the interior now, focusing a lot on the interior, tape and float throughout. We're going to do an above ceiling inspection this coming Friday that allows us to start setting up the ceiling tiles and start putting a lot of the finishes on the inside. And they've already removed their trailer, and they're starting to clean up the site to start doing a lot of the flat work, sidewalks, landscaping, so on, so we can be ready for the October 4th. On the 27th, we will do our SEI walk, meaning that it will be ready for occupancy. They're doing coordination with electronics for the scoreboard, sound system, so it can be ready for the fourth football game. And I would show you some of the photos, but I was told that some of these photos look a little outdated since they've done a lot of work since I took them. But it does show a lot of the progress that's going fast out there.
It is beautiful. We got to see it yesterday, and it looks really nice. So we're really excited about it.
It's coming along. We're proud of the project.
Electronics is on site. They were on site today, starting to bring in the material to get the scoreboard hooked up from the scorer's room down to the board. And then they have a cabling company that's going to come in and run all of the stuff for the cameras on the video board starting on Thursday. So electronics is working in conjunction with CGC, making sure that we're on the same page there as to what needs to happen to get that operational. And then I believe the only other thing I would say is that we are currently scheduled to get a meeting, walkthrough with the fire marshal on September 26th to get a temporary CFO that we're ahead of the October 4th date. They can move all the furniture.
questions?
Any questions, President?
Thomas, I have a question, Thomas.
Yes, sir.
I know I asked Brandon, but in the main press box room, the announcing room, is there gonna be sound that we can hear outside?
We are working on getting that in there. That should be part of the, it's not in there yet. Ceiling tiles still come, so. But yes, we're working on that. And I, like right now, that room is full of all electronic stuff and they got boxes and everything everywhere, so. But I think we're gonna move, I think, did anybody have any other questions for Paul on?
Press box?
Okay. So then I'm gonna turn over now, one of the action items later tonight is approval for schematic design on the Southwest Legacy High School addition. So I'm gonna turn that over to Rafael and Raul, and they're gonna go through that presentation, and then we will have an action item on plate.
So again, good evening, everybody. Of course, you all know me, but tonight I'm going to introduce formally Raul Llanas. He's a senior associate at the office, and he's serving as a senior project manager on the project. He'll be doing the majority of the legwork on the design side and kind of turning it over to me later on during the construction. So he'll be doing the update on what we're doing right now for Legacy.
Great. Well, thank you very much for that introduction, Rafael. Very happy to be here, Mr. Board President, members of the board, Dr. Ball, senior staff. Extremely excited to sort of begin this journey on the Southwest Legacy High School campus improvement. So with that, we'll just kind of go and get started. So one of the first things that we started looking at when we began this process was looking at the campus needs, right? What are some of the priorities of this campus? So we kind of narrowed it down to 4 items. The major priority obviously is the general classrooms, right? So we're going to be looking at adding some additional classrooms to the existing campus because of that need. The second item was to add a choral suite, basically a choir hall to the campus that currently doesn't have one. So we're going to include that as part of the addition. The third item is a cosmetology lab. There is an existing cosmetology lab on campus. One of the concerns is that some of the fumes from when they do the nails sort of disperses and sort of extends out to the corridors and some of the adjacent spaces. So we did go out, take a look at that. It may be as easy as just modifying the existing fume extractor. There's some arms that basically are part of a system. So when they do the nails, we did notice that those items were not working at the time. So the first step is to try to correct that, and that could be as easy as through the maintenance department. So it really would be a no-cost issue. If those are up and running and there's still the need for some supplemental ventilation, the design team is prepared to provide a low-cost option to supplement the ventilation out of that space. And then lastly, the fourth item is just adding an exterior canopy, really an extension to the existing welding lab, which is a separate standalone building that already kind of has one, but they need a little bit more of a laydown area for some of the materials and such. So we're going to provide a cover for them as well. What you see here is just a program of spaces. Part of obviously the design is really kind of looking into what spaces are going to be needed as part of this addition. So we're looking currently at adding 22 classrooms to that building addition. We're looking at, for the fine arts, for the choir suite, we're going to have a choir hall. We're going to have a director's office, an ensemble practice room, a couple of individual practice rooms. We're going to have 2 storages and equipment and a uniform storage as well. So all of that will be included as part of that addition. In addition to that, obviously we're going to need some building support spaces as well. We've got an SRO office included, a general office, a workroom with the storage, the grade level storage. We're going to have some restrooms for both students and for staff, and then also some other spaces like electrical and IDFs are also going to be needed to support that building addition. And like I mentioned, the cosmetology lab, not really any square footage there, just because we just know we need to address that fume issue. And then the exterior canopy, we're looking at approximately a 30 by 75 foot sort of extension to the existing building. In terms of the locations for some of these improvements, so the main building addition, we're looking at essentially just extending where the existing academic wing is, essentially all of the general classrooms. We're essentially just going to be providing that addition right as an extension to that. Like I mentioned, the weld shop is on the back end of the campus. So that's where the proposed canopy will be located. And then just really kind of identifying the proposed ventilation upgrades should those be needed. In terms of the floor plan layout, really what the intent here is just really to make an extension of the existing building. There is an opportunity to extend the corridor, just really kind of coming down here, and sort of flanking on both sides. The current layout does have 12 general classrooms on the first floor, with some of the sports spaces in the core of that addition. Essentially, student restrooms will have staff restrooms as well, workroom, and then the SRO, like I mentioned, right off this entry as well. So really, just an extension of the existing campus that's already there. The second floor is going to look almost identical to the first floor. Really, just trying to find some efficiencies and trying to stack both of those floors just to maximize, again, that constructability sort of efficiency by doing that. So on the second floor, we essentially have 10 classrooms, again, really stacking the restrooms in that core as well in the center of the building. And then the only difference on this floor is we do have that choir hall on the second floor as well. And that's inclusive of the director's office, a couple of individual practice rooms, an ensemble room, and a couple of uniform and instrument storage as well. In terms of the sort of exterior sort of look, this is to kind of refresh everybody's memory of the existing building for legacy. There's really three sort of dominant materials out here. We've got stone, we've got brick, we've got metal panels. And in addition to that, we also have a lot of sort of storefront as well. So really it's an extension of that. We didn't want to come up with a completely different design, but we wanted to make sure that because this building isn't as old, we wanted to make sure that it doesn't look like an addition, but really just an extension of that campus that's already there. So a couple of just exterior renderings of what this building could potentially kind of look like. We're really kind of looking at the end portion of this. It's almost kind of a bookend to where the entry sort of pieces to this. So we're going to be proposing on introducing some metal panels up at the front of that new addition. Just kind of turning the corner, there is kind of some opportunity there as well to provide some graphics, just some signage up on that building as well to kind of help promote the campus's sort of brand. This is a view from the back end and really a lot of the classroom spaces as well. Again, continuing a lot of the brick facade, a lot of the horizontal banding. Again, a lot of the same language that's currently used on the existing campus. For the interior, again, a couple of interior sort of existing sort of shots here, just again to kind of refresh everybody's sort of memory of what's inside this campus. Again, we're going to be utilizing a lot of the same finishes. I believe we've got polished concrete. We've got a lot of storefront. We've got some metal panel in there. So really, it's going to be utilizing a lot of the same materials in this new addition, just to make sure that it's sort of cohesive. It doesn't look like an add-on, but more of an extension. This is just a quick shot of the interior, just to kind of show that sort of volume. We are kind of opening up or proposing to open up that center sort of corridor. If you notice on the previous photos, there is a lot of sort of height and volume in the existing campus. So our intent here is to do that just at a much smaller scale of what is currently there. And lastly, this is a quick sort of rendering of the canopy piece that's going to be added on to the existing weld lab as well, and really just give them a little bit more sort of breathing room out there. We will be providing power, some lighting, and I believe some fans as well, just to kind of sort of assist them out there. And then the last component to this was just the sort of schedule and kind of where we're at. We're here presenting schematic design, so we're really kind of in between August and September. Should we receive approval on SD to move forward, we would be entering the design development phase of this through October and November. And then we would enter construction documents, the working drawings between December and February. We would bid this out between March and April to try to get some shovels in the ground by May of 25. We're actually kind of looking at we're exploring a couple of options to actually get there a little bit sooner than that. But really the overall intent is to have this building completed and open in July of 26 for the fall of 26 school year. And with that, I'll open it up to any questions.
So we'll be bringing this as an action item too to approve schematic. So it's the very early stages. We also will be bringing approval for the CMR tonight so that we can get the contractor on so we can start going through pricing exercises with Fluger because we feel like we're within budget, but bringing them on helps us guide that. And so we'll have both those action items coming to you tonight. So there's no more questions.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.
That's it. That's it, sir, for construction updates.
Okay. Administration and Human Resources, I see nothing. Business and Finance, discuss.
We had some items.
Oh, wait a minute, no. Monthly tax report.
Yeah, we ended up at 98% collection, so that's usually where we end up. So it's a little bit better than last August. So we still have some that are still a little delinquent that we collect in September. So hopefully we get closer to where our goal is, which is usually around 98.5, 99%.
Okay. Questions, anyone? Monthly financial report, investment report, report on gifts and bequests, enrollment report.
I believe we're.
Do we want to say anything on that?
We're
We're doing good, we're sharing that through our Friday notes, so
over 14.8.
Wow. But
I still want that 15,000.
I think it's coming.
I think so too. Okay, review of purchases over 50,000. Okay, PAM Media Outreach Leadership Program. Who's presenting?
We have a presentation, I know Lori will be coming up, and while she's setting up, I will, please feel free, Lori. Oh, I think she forgot something, so she'll be, I know you have a handout on this, but, this came about to us, in regards to piloting an opportunity for campuses to give students a leadership opportunity, a way for them to be mentored, to be able to connect with an adult within the system. So we targeted some campuses for academic purposes and also campuses that have high social emotional needs. So Lori is helping us guide through this, and it is being funded currently right now through our foundation. It is a pilot. We wanted it to pilot this at the campus, at these selected campuses, to see if it's something that we would want to do district-wide. So Lori has been leading this for us, so it's an exciting opportunity. I first learned about it through Texas A&M here in San Antonio. So it's a great avenue to give students another opportunity to excel. So Lori will lead us through this.
As they're setting up, you did get a folder and it's the presentation is.
Okay, Mr. President, Mr. Vasquez, board members and senior staff, thank you for letting me take a little bit of your time this evening. I promise I'll try not to be long-winded. Like Dr. Ball said, this is a task that she gave me, one of the first things that I worked with when I started on in my role. And I'm still learning about it. And one of the things that I'm really excited about is that, as you see in your handout, we're working with 4 schools. The elementary school this year, they've never worked with an elementary school before, so it's a beta test this year. But the basic thing that we're learning is to try to get our young people to learn to advocate for themselves, use their voices, and become engaged. I mean, it's really hard. I'm 53 years old, and I was nervous about coming up here and speaking. So I'm looking forward to see the growth that these young people are going to make. I was able to go to McAuliffe and see their first session, and it was both heart-wrenching and also encouraging to listen to some of the comments that they made some of the insight that they have about how they're perceived by the greater community, and the desire, even in the first session, to show the community at large that
Southwest youth have something positive to say, and they're interested in some of these concerning topics. So I'll just get back. So I worked with a restorative practice interventionist because I felt like that's the group that works a lot on mediation. They also work with the students who are having some peer issues, communication issues, conflict resolution, and these are all things that are important for young people to learn, and these are useful skills once they learn to navigate and utilize their communication and learn how to problem solve. They're going to be able to use this as adults, and hopefully someday some of them will be sitting in these seats as leaders in our community. At the high school level, they selected students from all grade levels. At the two middle schools, they selected 8th grade students with the hopes that we'll continue with the program and they'll be able to continue the following year as mentors, right, to the younger ones. Like I said, in the elementary school level, that's going to be a beta test. So all of the 5 students, those are going to be 5th grade students. They're meeting for 9 weeks. During this 9 weeks, in the first session, they kind of asked them, why do you want to do this, or why were you interested? All of them collectively were saying, I'm sorry. They were saying they wanted to be heard and they want to learn about some of the issues. Some of the things that they came up with was school safety, vaping. You know, they want to learn more about it. How do we fix it? How do we reduce it? So these are some of the questions that they are going to be coming up with. And once they decide on the topics that they'll discuss, some of those will have to do with voting rights, entrepreneurship, mental health. Mental health is one that's really important for us at all grade levels. It used to be something that we were concerned with only at the secondary level, but more and more we're seeing it as a concern at the elementary school. So we're really excited to see how those elementary school children are going to take on and learn to be leaders and then grow and hopefully stay with the program and continue in middle school and high school. They are selecting leaders from within their peers. They're being asked, okay, you're participating. Do you want to participate just to be a support, or do you see yourself as a director? Do you see yourself as a manager of logistics? They will culminate these 9 weeks that they meet into a summit, a teen summit. It is going to be student-led. So while they're coming up, deciding on which issues they want to investigate, they're also discussing what questions do they want these community leaders to answer. So they will come up with a panel of leaders and ask them these questions, and then learn to not just do that piece of it, but they're also going to put it on all. It's all, they're going to be in charge of deciding, you know, where are they going to sit? How much seating do we need? How do we need to greet them? And this is going to be the little bitties too. So when they do their summit at Legacy High School, they will also, on November 12th, they will also be including the little ones from the elementary school, and the little ones will be, you know, have the smaller jobs, but important jobs in guiding guests to where they are, and also having some of their input, some of their questions asked at this panel, even at the high school level. Like I said, the elementary is a beta test. There's going to be 5 students. Their event, they're also going to get some feedback and input from the older students. But their event is a one-day event, and it's going to be addressing just one topic. So the high schoolers will address 5 topics. The middle schoolers will address 3. And then the elementary will just address 1. And they're just gauging it down because obviously they're older, and so we're going to make it age appropriate so that they can learn from a young age to kind of learn to interact, not just with their peers, but also with the community, and also to ask some very good questions to their leadership in the community, to ask them, these are the issues that we have. How can y'all help us make them better? And how, this is what we think, this is how we see. Because as adults, we view things differently, and what we think is important and significant to them, to them may not be. They may be thinking that there's some other things, more detailed things that are important to them. And that's what we want them to be able to give us their point of view and figure out solutions with their leaders. Some of the the leaders that they work with are law enforcement. They have entrepreneurs, small business owners from the community. They'll also work with mental health professionals, if that's the one of the topics that they choose. The big one that I'm really excited about is they are going to push voting. Voting is one of the topics, because I think this year it's very important for them to address that topic and get their peers excited about it, because ultimately that is what they're trying to do. They have these concerns, but they want their classmates to be as excited, and they're bringing their parents, because they want their parents and the grown-ups in the community to see, hey, we have a voice, we have opinions, there's concerns that we have, and we want you to utilize us to get everyone excited about making some positive change. And at the end of it, I really want to see them grow and become more confident, and then also become players in positive change. I think that it a lot of times we don't realize that our young people have great ideas, but they just need to be given the platform, the ability to voice those ideas and voice those concerns, and the opportunity to make a difference. That's the most exciting thing of this program. The impact and the outcome for them is that they will be heard. I think that's the important. I think I got my hand slapped just a little bit at one of the meetings, because Dr. Monroe was like, Miss Bettis, this is their meeting. We're just watching, we want them to kind of get past that uncomfortable hump of speaking in front of people and being asked, questions and having to come up with their own answers and solutions. They will feel empowered, valued, confident, and supported. These are all very important things for young people to have in order to feel successful. I was going to show you a video, but I don't know if we'll put it in Friday notes, but you don't have to see it. Thank you so much. Do y'all have any questions?
Can you be sure and invite us to that?
Summit.
Oh, absolutely. All of you will be invited. They're gonna have an audience of about 200 people. That will include all of the students from all of the programs, their parents, and then we're gonna have to do kind of a lottery for each of the campuses in order to be able to get some from each of all 4 of the campuses represented well. But all of us will be invited.
I will say at the Moscow conference we just attended, one of the big things they had was they call it the Mos Docs, like a flip off panel of students. They had 9 students, and really the common thing among all 9 students was being heard, having a voice. That somewhere along the line they realized they had a voice, and that's what propelled them. It didn't matter if out of those 9, it was a kid that always does well at school, or one that struggled. It was once they found that voice, they knew whether they got involved with student council, athletics, band, choir, anything. Student council seemed to be the big thing this year about a lot of the kids, because they felt whether they were an officer or not, it was a way for them to get involved with the school and come to voice. So this is perfect for us.
Yeah. And it's really kind of beautiful. If you have an opportunity to visit the website, and you can tell the students that are in it for the first year, they're nervous just like me, right? And then you have those that are more veteran, and you see these students having podcasts with law enforcement officers, with professionals, and they're asking them really great questions. I would love to see our kids having those conversations and putting them up on our websites, and getting some really community involvement. I mean, I've been at a campus for 20 years, and I can tell you that the hardest thing to do is to get parents on our campus, for different things. But I will tell you what, if a child invites their parent to campus, they'll be there. So if nothing else, I think this is a great way for our young people to encourage their family to get involved.
Well, applaud you for what you're doing. Just hearing you tonight, we have the right person there. And anything we can do to assist you, please let us know.
Thank you.
Okay, where am I? Submission for the 2024-25 application for maximum class size exception for elementary schools.
And so this will be actually the last time Adrian reports this, because if you didn't see, we have a familiar face, but our new executive director of people services is back in the crowd there. Mary Lou is back, and so she's here. And so this is, Adrian is modeling the last time we will be doing this. Go ahead, Adrian.
Good evening, Board President Vasquez, board members, Dr. Ball, and senior leaders. We continue to monitor class sizes in pre-K through fourth grade throughout the district to make sure that we are maintaining the ratio that is set by the state. The state does require that we maintain a 22-to-1 ratio in those grade levels. However, our District of Innovation plan allows us to go to 23-to-1. And so if we exceed the 23-to-1 ratio, then we are required to submit a waiver to TEA and to also notify parents of students who are in those grade levels that we've exceeded that 23-to-1 ratio. Currently in the district, we have 6 campuses that have classes that have exceeded the 23-to-1 ratio. I've shared a handout with you that actually lists those 6 classes and the classrooms that are being impacted by the ratio, the 23-to-1 ratio that we have. And so you can see there that we have several that are at 24, a couple, 2 or 3 that are at 25. The number of students in these classes does tend to change. And for example, I think at Southwest Elementary in second grade, we have a 24 there. That number has since we last checked, has actually changed now back to 23. So we are within the ratio for that particular grade level, it looks like. And we accomplish that a lot of times by leveling, by making sure that we've leveled classes in these grade levels. And of course, we look at other options and ways that we can actually maintain that ratio. So.
Thank you. Questions, anyone? Any questions? Anyone? Thank you.
Thank you.
Southwest High School Methods of Administration Audit and Review.
Yes, I think Celine is going to be sharing this information, but while she's setting up, I'll share that a lot of times when people hear the word audit, they think of something bad or something bad happening, and that is certainly not the case. This is something that random school districts are selected, something that I feel very confident that our team has done a very good job of preparing. And this is truly an audit that looks at everything from restrooms to handicap signs to square footage to numbers of girls and boys in different classrooms. So I feel very confident that we will be well prepared for this. And the team has gathered information, and Celine, I'll let you share.
Charlene, going to start real quick. The topic we just discussed about the class size.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want everybody to know that the board is aware of the class size, and we are working with administration to do our best to decrease the class size. In some schools, there just literally is no physical space to put another classroom, so we're trying to be innovative in that process. We're not in any way saying we're happy that the class sizes are above 23-to-1, and we know that ideally we would like to be 22-to-1. But because of some of the projects going on, because of the growth in certain communities, we're looking to address the problem, but we do have to, by law, submit a waiver so that we're in compliance. But the community and the rest of the people don't think we're happy with the class sizes. We are working to mitigate that situation.
Yes, and I would like to add, thank you for the board support to hire aides in order to support those teachers, because I know we have discussed that. Of course, we always look for a teacher, but in the case that we can't find him or we don't have space for an additional classroom, then we will be doing different things to support our teachers with that. So thank you.
Good evening, Board President Vasquez, board members, senior staff, Dr. Ball. Southwest High School has been chosen for the audit for the methods of administration. And the last time we were chosen was in 2017. And so the purpose is to make sure that we are providing equal access to our CTE programs. And since TEA does receive federal funding for education, they are required to conduct comprehensive reviews within districts to really look at campuses to make sure that we are in compliance with the Office of Civil Rights. So definitely the attention is on career and technical education programs. However, all aspects of the district, like Dr. Ball mentioned, from facilities to our non-discrimination, Title IX, all of that is going to be asked during the audit. So what we received was a table that looked at all our students that are at Southwest High School. And then they also looked at the total number of CTE students. So they looked at the percentage, which was the mean, which was 39%. And so what they were looking at is they compared that mean, the 0.39%, across all our subpopulations. And from there, they determined if groups were underrepresented or overrepresented. So in this case, if we looked at the demographics, we have two subpops that are under. And so when we look at this, if we were under 11%, that's what TEA indicated as a threshold where we would be included in the audit. So we are looking at the number of African-American students and then also the number of our SPED students. So what does this process look like? We were notified in late August. We did attend a Zoom to give us more information on the audit. And so all of the extensive documentation that they are asking, and we'll go through just the different components, is due September 25th. So I have compiled a timeline to make sure that everything was due this past Friday. So this week is our check to make sure that all the documents are correct. And so our goal is to upload 2 days before, just to ensure if you've ever uploaded to a TEA site the day of, there is a chance where there could be some system issues. So we definitely want to make sure that we are uploading before. So once we go ahead and upload the extensive documentation, they will visit us in the spring. It'll be virtual. They will have two parts of the virtual, the Zoom. One will be interviews with our staff. So they have a list of staff that they would like to speak to. They would have to log onto their computers and then also answer the questions. And then we do have a facility tour that is going to be conducted with a cell phone. So they are recommending 2 cell phones in case one does die, but all of that will be virtual. So what does a data collection entail? So they are looking to make sure that our non-discrimination is on all our documents that we are sending out. Also looking at how we are advising our career and technical education students. Also looking at facilities. Are our facilities accessible to all our students? Looking at even transportation list for our CTE students and our special education students. What does that look like that we are providing transportation? Also looking at our work-based learning and our career and technical education program, and then also at our CTSOs, which are our career and technical student organizations. So they want to know who is involved and how are we promoting and recruiting throughout the year. So these are just 7 indicators that we are submitting extensive documentation for. Also, we are submitting 10 student folders that does comprise our CTE students, non-CTE students, and then just different subpopulations from 9th through 12th grade. So those folders are ready to go and will be uploaded. In addition, TEA really wants to survey our students and our parents. So not only are they asking about our career and technical education programs, they are asking about is our community at Southwest High School, are they informed about the grievance process? Have they seen our non-discrimination statements? So there are 2 different, one for students and one for parents. So on March 18th, we'll have a group ready to go to answer the questions for the TEA virtual Zoom. And then also the facility tour. So we'll have 3 representatives who will be visiting, just going around the campus and just making sure that they have a good eye of the facilities. They'll be asked to measure some areas. So we will have staff ready for the facilities tour as well. Next steps, what happens? So after they reviewed our data that has been submitted in the fall, they will come back and look at the data that they capture from interviews and also our facilities tours. At that time, they will decide if we are issued a no non-compliance, which means that everything is good on our end. It's just that our students chose to be in other endorsements or other programs of study, that we are providing equal access. Everything looks good for the 7 indicators, and so then we'll be excluded from any audits for 5 years. If they come back and they do find some areas, then we do have a voluntary compliance plan that we do have to go ahead and submit to make sure we are taking care of the items that they deemed in need of support. Any questions about the audit that will be occurring in March?
So basically on this topic, you will hear from it again at the end, towards the end of the year, and we'll share those results with the board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 7, Administration, Human Resources, nothing. Item 8, Business and Finance. Discuss and take potential action regarding the pending lawsuit about the 2024 accountability ratings.
Yes. So last year, when our accountability ratings came out, several districts joined the lawsuit. Again, this year, several districts are joining the lawsuit. So we'd like to have a discussion with the board, if specifically Southwest ISD would like to join the lawsuit. I know that Brandon has been in touch with the attorneys. If Brandon, would you like to share some of that?
So I think the previous litigation was around more of the changing of the test and the accountability system. The new step forward in this new litigation moving forward is they're going to be going after the way the test is scored with the AI component. And so being a part of it, it was really about that piece. We had a flat fee the last time. One thing that they did say, they can't tell us how much it would cost to be a part of this lawsuit because they're waiting to see how many districts. Currently, they have like 38 districts. And depending on their hourly rate and how long it takes and what they're going to combine all that, then each district will be given an equal portion. So they couldn't say how much it would cost us. So the more districts that are involved, obviously probably the lesser the cost, but it depends on how long this drags out, how much the lawyers have to spend getting ready for the trials and the injunctions. Currently, right now, they yesterday and today, I think they were in court about the current injunction stopping the accountability ratings from being released. I'm supposed to give a call tonight to talk about that after this board meeting. At the same time, they need to know tonight if we're joining or not because we're actually kind of late. And so depending on what happens today in court, gives us direction with them on which way we would go. So really, that's kind of all I have is they were just saying that's kind of to be their focus is on the AI grading system that they're using with the artificial intelligence, because there's been some discrepancy in the scoring of that. And really, they couldn't tell us how much it's going to cost because depending on how many districts they actually finalize or part of the litigation and how long it takes to try this case or the process that they go through. So that's kind of where we are. And as far as, I know it's a tough decision to determine whether you want to join, but I can't give you a cost at this point.
So part of that lawsuit is not releasing the scores or the grades. Ours have already been released. There was on the Express News. So as far as that goes, they're already out there.
So correct. So TEA officially hasn't released, but we already had ours, and so we had information that was subject to open records, and so they were able to get what we believe is a rating. Currently, they're still,
but it's not the actual rating.
It's our predicted rating.
Yeah, but it's not the actual rating.
Correct.
And also, I will say that O'Hanlon has fought many battles on behalf of schools and school districts. You can go back to the 80s and he's also been very fair in fees. We've joined other lawsuits in the past, and personally, I think we should. Board members,
Is this the one that you were saying that there were not many districts from Bear County joining?
Right, in Bear County, they chose not
so there is a recommendation to approve the legal services agreement with O'Hanlon, Demerith, and Castillo for the pending lawsuit about the 2024 accountability ratings. At this time, I will entertain a motion. Hearing none, this item dies. Okay. Consider approval of an amendment for the 2024-2025 compensation plan.
Yes, so there's just a slight change to our compensation. Really, it's a teacher and the counselor scale. We currently have a scale that ends at 32 years. So if you have 32 years of experience, whatever we set that rate at is what everybody else above that scale gets. So if you have 33 years, you're making the same as somebody that's 32. We did looking at kind of our TASB study groups that we did in some other districts, and also with some concern from some of our teachers and counselors. We are asking the board to extend that to 34 years. And so we made an adjustment to the scales so that anybody that is in the district for 33 years and 34 years, that we actually, they get a bigger raise. They're a little bit more money than what somebody is that's making 32 years, that has 32 years of experience.
Board members, you have that before you.
I move.
Second.
We have a motion that the board approves budget amendment as presented. Questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Consider approval of budget amendment number 1.
Yes, sir. So normally our budget board amendments are on the consent agenda. We strategically put the board amendment on the business and finance agenda in the past during budget workshop and at the end of the year when we ask you to approve the budget. Normally we roll in all the rollover POs. So an example of a rollover PO is something that we purchased or had a PO for. I'll give you an example would be CTE. CTE needed a new compressor at Southwest High School. They got a PO this summer. They were waiting for it to come in. It was shipped, but we hadn't received it by the end of the fiscal year, so we weren't able to pay that invoice in the fiscal year 23-24. So that item is here now, and we need to pay it, but we were going to use last year's funds for that. So, and to not impact this year's budget, because they need their budget for this year, we're asking the board to give those funds back that would roll into fund balance. And so there's a few items on the list. You have the list with you that you can look at. It's roughly about $260,000 worth of different products that we purchased or services. Another example would be the press box. There were some items that we bought for the press box, and we're getting close to the end of that. And so those are examples. Most of it is going to be in facilities and maintenance and our capital projects. Very few other products that are not a normal purchase. And so we're asking the board to approve the board amendment number 1 for the rollover POs. So they will be from fund balance for $260,000. Also, there has been, we just pushed out budget September 1st. So also what's happening at campuses, they're looking at their budgets. They're saying, hey, I want to get a consultant or I need to buy some more supplies. So they're starting to move money within function. So there's a couple of those, but that has nothing to do with moving money out of fund balance. The only fund balance piece of this is the rollover POs. Questions?
So these are funds that we had already approved to use last year.
Correct.
We were not able to expend the funds because of timing.
Because of it.
So then that money rolled into the fund balance, and now you're just asking us to take it out of fund balance and spend it.
And put it back into the budget.
I'll move.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Consider approval of schematic design drawings for the Southwest Legacy High School additions project.
Well, we Earlier, Fluger presented a schematic design, and so we're asking the board to approve that schematic design as
I move.
presented.
I second.
We have a motion and a second that we approve the schematic design as presented tonight by Fluger. Questions, anyone? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Consider the award of RFP 2324-032, Construction Manager at Risk contract for the Southwest Legacy High School Additions Project.
Yes, sir.
Thomas.
So, district staff and Fluger Architects worked together in preparing this RFP for the construction manager at risk on the Southwest Legacy High School Additions Project. This district accepted bids on August 27th, 2024. Four bids were received. They ranged from $1,371,000 to $1,735,821. As far as the pre-construction and construction phase costs, like we've done in the past with these other projects that we've just recently done. And so district staff and Fluger reviewed and ranked the firms based on that selection criteria that was published. And after going through that process, we just handed out the new board background there because we were just able to finish it yesterday with the reference checks. And so the district staff is recommending that the board approve George General Contractors as the best value for the district as the construction manager at risk on the Southwest Legacy High School Addition Project. That contract would be $1,735,821 and would be funded by the 2023 bond. You guys have any questions for me on that?
I move.
We have a motion and a second. Questions, anyone? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank
you. Okay, consider nominations for the Bear Appraisal District Board of Directors.
And that's just if the board has anybody that they would like to recommend.
Anyone recommend or volunteer? Hearing none, we'll move on.
But
Okay.
is that, do we get votes in that or?
Yes, right now it's just recommendations
Oh,
for
okay.
nominations.
Okay.
Once the nominations come to us,
Okay.
then we use our votes. Okay. CNI, nothing. Special programs, nothing. Okay. Do you have anything before we go into closed session?
Absolutely. We have a lot of great things happening. October the 4th will be our first football game here. So looking forward to it. It'll be also homecoming. So that'll be on October the 4th. That will happen. October the 18th will be the dedication of the field. So I'd like to invite everybody there. You'll receive a formal invitation, but on October the 3rd at 7:30, we'll have a GED graduation. And then also tomorrow we have a water polo game that everybody is invited to. And then of course you have your flyer with lots more exciting things. And we'd also like to congratulate Flo. Flo became a MASBA board of directors and she was inducted last Friday. So congratulations to Flo. And that's it, sir.
Okay. We're going to closed session as permitted by sections 551.001-551.146 of the Texas Government Code. Pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074, discussion on personnel and administrator employment resignations, reassignments, leaves of absence, contract renewals. Pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.071, attorney consultation regarding legal issues related to public complaints and discussion on prior parent grievance. And pursuant to Government Code 551.074, hear and consider hear and consider level 3 grievances filed by community members against the Board of Trustees and an individual board member. We will now go into closed session at 7:31. Time.
I'm ready.
We will call this meeting back into open session at 9:36. Okay, board members, first of all, is there a motion on personnel?
I move that we approve the superintendent's recommendation on personnel.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Secondly, is there a motion on the grievance against the board?
I move that we deny the level 3 grievance filed by the community members and the remedies requested.
There is a motion.
Second.
There is a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Second, or thirdly, is there a motion on the grievance file against the individual board member, Ida Sadolkin?
Well, first, I would like to recuse myself from any vote on this matter.
Okay.
I move to deny the level 3 grievance filed by Mr. Bernal and the remedies requested.
I second.
There's a motion, the second, to deny on the grievance of Ida Sadolkin. With Ida recusing yourself, other board members, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. At this time, is there any one last thing?
No, thank you.
Board members, anything you want to mention? Hearing none, this meeting is closed at 9:38.